Welcome. Thank you for choosing to settle in and share this time with me. Find a comfortable space, allow your breath to deepen, and let the world outside gently fade. My name is Silas, and I find a quiet joy in journeying, not just to see new places, but to feel them, to listen to their unique rhythms, and to gather moments of stillness aboard my traveling home, the Wanderer. It's a slow way to travel, perhaps, but one that allows for reflection and appreciation of the subtle details that often pass unnoticed. My journeys aboard the train have carried me through such varied landscapes, from the vibrant, sun-drenched energy of Barcelona's streets to the serene canals and historic charm of Amsterdam, and the quiet, snow-dusted beauty of Quebec City in winter. That feeling I had in Barcelona of history being so tangible, so present in the very stones of the city, is something I anticipate feeling again as the Wanderer now glides southeastward. Through the window, the terrain is becoming drier, the light more intense, the hills dotted with the resilient silver green of olive trees, heralding our approach to Athens. The air, even through the carriage's slight opening, carries a warmer, more herbal scent. In the chapters ahead, as we arrive in Athens, I find myself looking forward to observing the famed Attic light, particularly how it interacts with the ancient marble of the Acropolis, and whether it truly does possess that timeless quality I've read so much about. I'm also curious to wander the labyrinthine, whitewashed pathways of Anafiotika, seeking out those quiet, village-like corners nestled on the slopes below the Parthenon, and to experience the simple, everyday ritual of a Greek coffee in a neighborhood cafeneio, absorbing the local rhythm and the murmur of conversation. This is an invitation to slow down with me, to observe these moments, and to find a measure of peace in the present, just as I seek to do. Let the gentle sounds of the journey soothe you as we arrive and begin to explore the calm atmosphere of Athens together. If you find comfort and tranquility in sharing these experiences, perhaps consider liking this recording or subscribing to the channel to join me as the journey continues. For now, let us begin. Chapter 1, Towards the Attica Sun. The steady, familiar rhythm of the Wanderer is a constant comfort as we glide south. Outside my window, the landscape has begun a slow transformation, the greens of more northern climes yielding to a drier, more sun-baked palette. I watch the blur of the earth, the occasional cluster of hardy trees, the distant shimmer of what might be the sea, though it's too far to be certain yet. The air in my carriage is still, carrying the faint, pleasant scent of old wood, leather from my satchel, and the lingering aroma of the peppermint tea I brewed an hour ago. It's a gentle cocoon, this train, allowing the world to unfold at a pace that encourages observation rather than mere transit. The terrain now shows definitive signs of the Mediterranean. Gnarled olive trees, their silver-green leaves catching the sunlight, dot the hillsides in increasing numbers. Their ancient, twisted trunks speak of resilience, of centuries spent enduring hot summers and mild winters. I take out my notebook and a soft pencil, attempting a quick sketch of one particularly expressive tree, its branches reaching like weathered arms. It's a humble pursuit, this sketching, not for artistry, but for a deeper kind of seeing. The act of drawing forces me to notice the subtle curves, the play of light and shadow, the very essence of its form. Alongside my drawing, I jot down a few words. Silver leaves, ancient breath. My thoughts drift, as they often do on these long stretches, to the land we are approaching, Attica, Athens. Names that resonate with a weight of history, of philosophy, of art that has shaped so much of the world I know. It's a strange feeling to be physically moving towards a place that has occupied such a vast space in the landscape of human thought. I feel a quiet anticipation, not for grand discoveries, but for the simple act of being there, of walking streets that others, centuries ago, walked with their own dreams and preoccupations. The train carries me not just across miles, but in a way, across time. Even from this distance, as the wanderer cuts through the undulating landscape, the quality of the light seems different. It's clearer, sharper, yet with an underlying softness that I associate with paintings I've seen of this region. It has a luminosity that seems to soak into everything, making colors more vibrant, shadows more defined. I lower the window a little, and the air that rushes in is warmer now, carrying new scents, a hint of dust, dry grass, and something faintly floral and wild. It's the breath of Greece beginning to make its presence known, a gentle herald of our approach. I see a small whitewashed village nestled in a fold of the hills, a splash of brilliant white against the muted tones of the earth. A thin plume of smoke rises from a chimney, the only sign of life from this distance. It looks peaceful, timeless, as if it has existed in that exact spot, unchanged for generations. I imagine the slow rhythm of life there, governed by the sun and the seasons, a contrast to the more hurried pace of the cities I often find myself in. These glimpses of settled, quiet existence are always a poignant reminder of the diverse ways people inhabit this world. The journey itself is a form of meditation. The consistent motion, the unfolding panorama, the solitude it all conspires to quiet the mind, allowing for a more receptive state. I'm not actively seeking profound insights, but sometimes they arrive unbidden, small moments of clarity or appreciation. Right now, it's a simple gratitude for this mode of travel, for the ability to see the subtle gradations of change, for the unhurried approach to a new place. It allows for a gentler immersion, a chance to absorb the spirit of a land before even setting foot in its capital. The clickety-clack of the wheels on the tracks is a soothing metronomic beat, the soundtrack to my travels. It's a sound I've come to associate with peace, with the luxury of uninterrupted thought. My cabin is arranged just so my book's within reach, my camera safely stowed, my notebook always ready. It's a small, moving world, perfectly self-contained, offering both refuge and a window to the vastness outside. The sun, lower in the sky now, casts long shadows from the olive trees, striping the hills in gold and deep umber. As evening approaches, the light softens further, taking on a warm, almost amber glow. The hills of Attica are drawing nearer, their outlines becoming sharper against the slowly deepening sky. There's a subtle energy shift in the air, a feeling of nearing a significant place, a focal point of human history and endeavor. I close my notebook, content with the day's observations, the slow accumulation of sensory impressions. The true experience of Athens is yet to come, but this journey towards it is an integral part of the story, a gentle prelude. Soon the lights of the city's periphery will begin to appear, distant twinkles growing into a more consistent glow. For now, I watch the last of the daylight fade, feeling the quiet hum of the wanderer beneath me. The transition from the rural landscape to the urban sprawl will be another chapter, another shift in perception. But this approach, through the sun-drenched ancient lands of Attica, has set a tone of quiet reverence, a perfect overture to the timeless light that awaits. Chapter 2. First Steps on Ancient Ground, Larissa Station. The name itself feels grounded, prosaic, after the almost mythical anticipation of the journey. The wanderer glides to a smooth halt, the hiss of brakes, a final sigh. I take a moment, looking out at the platform, a bustle of activity, faces, luggage. It's a universal scene, the arrival point, yet specific to this place, this city. The light here, even within the confines of the station, seems to possess that distinct Athenian clarity I'd glimpsed from the train, filtering through the high, somewhat grimy windows of the station roof. Stepping down from the familiar comfort of my carriage onto the concrete platform, I feel the slight jolt of transition. The air is warmer, filled with a symphony of sounds, the rapid musical cadence of Greek, the rumble of trolley wheels, announcements echoing slightly, creating a layered soundscape. It's not overwhelming, but it's a definite shift from the quiet solitude of my train. I pull my well-worn leather satchel, containing my essentials, onto my shoulder and begin to navigate towards the station exit, moving with the general flow of people, an observer joining the stream. The station itself is a mix of the functional and the slightly faded. There are modern information boards, yet the underlying structure feels older, bearing the marks of countless arrivals and departures. I notice the lettering on signs, the unique curves of the Greek alphabet, a visual reminder that I am in a place with its own deep-rooted script, its own way of shaping words. Finding a taxi is straightforward. The driver, a man with kind eyes and a welcoming smile, helps with my small bag, and soon we are merging into the city traffic. The journey from the station to Koukaki, the neighborhood I've chosen for its local feel and proximity to some of the historical sites, is an immediate immersion. Modern apartment blocks stand shoulder to shoulder with older neoclassical buildings, their facades sometimes grand, sometimes crumbling, painted in hues of ochre, pale yellow, and dusty rose. Balconies overflow with plants, geraniums, basil, small citrus trees in pots. There's a vibrancy here, a sense of life lived openly, even amidst the urban density. Graffiti, colorful and intricate, adorns many walls, a contemporary layer on ancient foundations. I watch the people on the streets, an elderly woman meticulously watering her window boxes, two men engaged in animated conversation outside a small cafaneo, a young couple zipping past on a scooter, their laughter trailing behind them. There's an energy that is distinctly Mediterranean, a blend of leisurely pace and sudden bursts of vivacity. The sounds of the city are a rich tapestry car horns, the murmur of conversation spilling from cafes, the distant wail of a siren, the clatter of shutters. It's all new, yet somehow familiar, the universal rhythm of a large city asserting itself. My apartment is on a relatively quiet side street, lined with bitter orange trees whose dark green leaves offer a pleasant contrast to the sun-warmed buildings. It's a modest building, and my host, a friendly woman named Eleni, greets me with a warm "Yasas" and shows me to a simple, clean room. High ceilings, white walls that catch the afternoon light beautifully, and a small balcony overlooking the street. It's exactly what I hoped for. A haven, a quiet base from which to explore. After Eleni leaves, I spend some time simply acquainting myself with the space. The coolness of the tiled floor underfoot, the way the light filters through the wooden shutters, creating patterns on the opposite wall. I unpack my satchel slowly, placing my notebook and camera on the small wooden desk, arranging a few books beside them. There's a small framed print of an olive branch on the wall, a subtle nod to the land outside. It feels peaceful, a good place to rest and reflect after the day's journey. Stepping onto the narrow balcony, I lean against the railing. Below, the street is quiet. An old man shuffles by. A cat stretches languidly on a warm car bonnet. The scent of something baking, perhaps spanakopita, drifts from a nearby window. In the distance, I can just make out the silhouette of a hill against the clear blue sky. Philopapu, perhaps, or one of the other hills that cradle this ancient city. The air is dry and warm, carrying the subtle, dusty fragrance of Athens. It's these first impressions, these initial sensory details, that often stay with me the longest. The particular quality of the light, the specific sounds of a neighborhood, the feel of the air. They form the foundation of my experience of a place. Athens is already beginning to reveal its character, a city of layers, where the ancient and the contemporary coexist, sometimes harmoniously, sometimes in stark contrast. I feel a quiet sense of anticipation, an eagerness to explore its streets and soak in its unique atmosphere, one gentle step at a time. Chapter 3. A Haven in Koukaki. The apartment in Koukaki, though simple, quickly begins to feel like a temporary home. The whitewashed walls act as a perfect canvas for the Athenian light, which streams in through the balcony doors each morning, gentle yet insistent. I find a rhythm in the small space, brewing a cup of local mountain tea, sitting at the wooden desk to jot down thoughts from the previous day, or simply standing on the balcony, observing the quiet life of the street below unfold. It's a compact world, but it offers everything I need: a place for rest, reflection, and preparation for the day's wanderings. The furnishings are sparse but functional: a comfortable bed, the aforementioned desk and chair, a small wardrobe. What it lacks in embellishment, it makes up for in character. The shutters, painted a pale sun-faded blue, are old, their wooden slats fitting imperfectly, allowing slivers of light and sound to penetrate. The floor is tiled, cool underfoot, a welcome sensation after walking on sun-warmed pavement. I appreciate these simple, honest materials, the lack of pretense. It feels authentic, a genuine Athenian dwelling rather than a sterile, anonymous room. One of my first tasks upon settling in is to arrange my few belongings in a way that creates a sense of order and familiarity. My notebook and pens are laid out on the desk, my camera placed carefully beside them, a small stack of books, a collection of Sepphoris's poetry, a history of ancient Greece. A slim travel guide finds a home on the windowsill. These small rituals of settling in, of personalizing a temporary space, help to ground me, to make me feel connected to the place, however fleeting my stay might be. The balcony is my favorite spot. It's narrow, barely wide enough for the small metal chair I pull out there, but it offers a direct connection to the neighborhood. In the mornings, I watch as residents emerge, heading to work or to the local bakery, their Calamera greetings drifting up. In the evenings, the air cools, and the sounds change, the clatter of cutlery from open windows, snippets of conversation, the occasional burst of music. The bitter orange trees lining the street below are a constant, pleasant presence, their leaves rustling in the breeze, their fruit like small, bright jewels. From this vantage point, I also begin to notice the smaller details of Athenian life. The ubiquitous cats, lounging with regal indifference on stone steps or woven through the railings of other balconies. The intricate ironwork of an older balcony across the street. The way the sunlight catches the marble thresholds of doorways, worn smooth by countless footsteps. These are the quiet observations that build a sense of place, the small threads that weave together the larger tapestry of the city. It's a practice in mindfulness, this focused noticing. The sounds of Koukaki are a gentle backdrop. Unlike the more central, tourist-heavy areas, there's a distinct local rhythm here. The murmur of Greek conversation is constant, a melodious flow that I don't understand but find soothing. Children's laughter echoes from a nearby schoolyard during the day. The distant, intermittent chime of church bells marks the passage of hours, a sound that seems to connect the present moment to a much older tradition of timekeeping. Even the rumble of a delivery truck or the buzz of a scooter feels part of this neighborhood's unique soundscape. Inside, the silence of the apartment is a welcome contrast, a space for my own thoughts to settle. I find myself spending time just sitting, looking out, letting my mind wander. The quality of the light inside is particularly captivating. It shifts throughout the day, from the bright, direct light of midday to the softer, more angled light of late afternoon, each creating a different mood within the room. It illuminates dust motes dancing in a sunbeam, highlights the texture of the whitewashed wall, and casts long, gentle shadows from the simple furniture. This little haven in Koukaki provides the perfect balance of quiet retreat embedded within a living, breathing neighborhood. It's a place to recharge, to process the impressions of the day, and to simply be. the scent of jasmine, which I eventually traced to a climbing plant in a neighboring courtyard, often drifts in on the evening breeze, a sweet, intoxicating perfume that adds another layer to the sensory experience of this place. It's these small, unexpected delights that make a temporary dwelling feel special. I feel a sense of quiet contentment here. There's no pressure to rush, no demanding itinerary. The days unfold at their own pace, guided by curiosity and the desire for gentle exploration. This apartment, with its simple comforts and its connection to the local rhythm, is an essential part of that experience. It's more than just a place to sleep. It's a space that allows me to feel, however briefly, like a quiet observer, a temporary resident in this timeless city. Chapter 4. Anafiotika's Whitewashed Whispers. Early morning is the best time for Anafiotika. The air is still cool, carrying the scent of night-blooming jasmine and damp stone. I make my way up the lower slopes of the Acropolis, the well-trodden paths leading towards this hidden village within a city. The first light of day is just beginning to touch the highest points of the Parthenon, visible above, lending it a golden hue. Down here, in the narrow, winding alleyways of Anafiotika, the shadows are still long and deep, creating a sense of hushed intimacy. The houses are small, almost cubist in their simplicity, clustered together like barnacles on the rock. Whitewash, brilliant and stark, covers every wall, reflecting even the softest morning light and giving the place an ethereal glow. Brightly painted shutters and doors, blues, greens, deep reds, provide vibrant splashes of color against the white canvas. It's as if a piece of a Cycladic island has been magically transported to the heart of Athens, a testament to the homesickness of the 19th century workers from the island of Anafi who built this neighborhood. I wander without a specific destination, letting the narrow pathways guide me. They twist and turn, often ending in tiny courtyards or flights of steep stone steps that lead to yet another level of interconnected dwellings. It's a delightful labyrinth, easy to get lost in, but in the most pleasant way. Cats, the unofficial guardians of Anafiotika, stretch languidly on sun-warmed steps or peer curiously from rooftops, their movements fluid and silent. They seem perfectly at home in this tranquil, almost timeless environment. Geraniums, bougainvillea, and basil spill from countless pots and repurposed olive oil tins, their colors vivid against the white walls and blue-painted window frames. Tiny gardens are carved out of improbable spaces, showcasing a love for greenery and beauty, even in the most compact of settings. The air is fragrant with the scent of these plants, mixed with the occasional aroma of coffee brewing from an open window. It's a profoundly peaceful place, especially at this hour, before the city fully awakens and the main tourist trails become busy. I find a small weathered stone bench tucked into a curve in the path, overlooking a tangle of rooftops and, beyond them, a panoramic vista of the sprawling city of Athens, still partially veiled in morning haze. From here, the sounds of the metropolis are muted, a distant hum that doesn't disturb the serenity of this enclave. I take out my notebook, not to sketch the grand view, but perhaps a detail the curve of a terracotta chimney pot, the intricate shadow play on a textured wall, the delicate bloom of a single flower. The silence is broken only by the cooing of pigeons, the rustle of leaves in a gentle breeze, or the distant clang of a church bell. Occasionally, a resident emerges, perhaps to sweep their doorstep or water their plants, offering a quiet calamera if our eyes meet. There's a sense of community here, a shared understanding of this special place. The walls themselves seem to hold whispers of past lives, of generations who have found solace and a sea of home on these ancient slopes. The light is constantly changing. As the sun climbs higher, it begins to penetrate deeper into the narrow alleyways, illuminating previously shadowed corners, making the whitewash almost dazzling. It defines the sharp edges of the buildings, highlights the textures of stone and plaster, and creates a dynamic interplay of light and shadow that is endlessly fascinating. It's a photographer's and a painter's dream. But even just to observe it, to be present in it, is a profound experience. This is the timeless light of Athens, in one of its most intimate and charming manifestations. I spend a couple of hours just meandering, sitting, observing. There's no grand monument here, no specific site to tick off a list. The attraction of Anafiotika is its atmosphere, its human scale, its unexpected tranquility so close to the monumental presence of the Acropolis. It feels like stepping back in time, or perhaps stepping into a more idealized, peaceful version of island life, right in the urban heart. The experience is subtle, an accumulation of small beauties and quiet moments. Leaving Anafiotika as the sun grows warmer and more people begin to stir, I carry with me a sense of calm and a collection of vivid sensory impressions. The brilliant white, the vibrant splashes of color, the scent of flowers and coffee, the soft sounds, the intricate dance of light. It's a reminder that even in a city as ancient and grand as Athens, some of the most profound beauty can be found in its smallest, most unassuming corners, where life continues with a quiet, enduring grace. Chapter 5. Among the Whispering Olives, Ancient Agora. The ancient Agora unfolds before me, a sprawling expanse of ruins and greenery under the vast Attic sky. It's less imposing, perhaps, than the Acropolis that looms above it, but it possesses a different kind of resonance. This was the heart of ancient Athenian life, the center of commerce, politics, and philosophy. I choose a time in the late afternoon when the crowds have thinned and the sun is beginning to soften, casting longer shadows across the weathered stones. The air is warm, carrying the scent of dust, wild herbs, and the distant city. I walk slowly without a specific route, allowing my feet to lead me along the ancient pathways. Scattered marble fragments, columned drums, pieces of friezes, inscribed stones lie amidst the olive trees and wildflowers, silent witnesses to millennia of history. It's humbling to tread the same ground where Socrates might have questioned his students, where citizens gathered to debate, where merchants bartered their goods. The sense of connection to that distant past is palpable, a quiet hum beneath the surface of the present moment. My attention is drawn to the temple of Hephaestus, standing remarkably intact on a low hill overlooking the Agora. Its Doric columns, weathered to a warm honey color, exude a sense of strength and enduring beauty. I find a spot to sit on a low stone wall in its shadow, under the dappled shade of an olive tree. The leaves of the olive, silver green, rustle gently in the breeze, a sound that seems to whisper secrets of the ages. From here, I can look out over the ruins, imagining the space as it once was, bustling with activity, vibrant with intellectual and civic life. It's not a place for hurried sightseeing. The true experience of the Agora for me lies in quiet contemplation, in allowing the atmosphere of the place to seep in. I watch the play of light on the ancient stones, the way it highlights the texture of the marble, revealing the marks of time and human hands. Small lizards dart among the ruins, and bees buzz lazily among the wildflowers that push up between the cracks in the pavement. Life, in its myriad forms, continues to thrive amidst these remnants of a powerful civilization. I open my notebook, not to draw the temple in its entirety, but perhaps a detail of a column's capital, or the way a wildflower grows defiantly beside a fallen block of marble. It's these small juxtapositions of the monumental and the minute, the enduring and the ephemeral, that capture my interest. I reflect on the nature of legacy, on what remains after empires fall and generations pass. Here, it's not just the stones, but the ideas that were born and nurtured in this very space, ideas of democracy, justice, and philosophical inquiry that form the most lasting inheritance. Near the reconstructed Stoa of Attalos, now housed in a museum, I find another quiet bench. The Stoa itself, with its long colonnades, offers a glimpse of the architectural grandeur that once characterized the Agora. I listen to the murmur of voices from other visitors, a soft counterpoint to the chirping of crickets and the gentle sigh of the wind. There's a peacefulness here, a sense of being removed from the clamor of the modern city that surrounds the site, even though its sounds are a faint, constant backdrop. The olive trees are perhaps the most eloquent inhabitants of the Agora. Some are clearly ancient, their trunks gnarled and split, their branches spreading wide. They are living links to the past, symbols of peace, wisdom, and the enduring connection of this land to its history. Sitting beneath them, I feel a sense of continuity, a feeling that despite all the changes, some essential qualities of this place remain. The same sun warms the stones, the same breezes rustle the leaves. As the afternoon wears on, the light becomes richer, bathing the ruins in a warm golden glow. The shadows lengthen, adding depth and mystery to the landscape. It's a magical time in the Agora when the stones seem to absorb the day's warmth and radiate a gentle energy. I feel a profound sense of gratitude for the opportunity to experience this place, not as a scholar or an archaeologist, but simply as an observer, open to its quiet teachings. Leaving the Agora as the gates are preparing to close, I carry with me a sense of peace and a deeper appreciation for the layers of history that make Athens so unique. The whispering olives, the sun-warmed stones, the echoes of ancient voices. These are the impressions that linger. It's a place that invites reflection not just on the past, but on the enduring human quest for meaning, community, and beauty. A quest that continues to unfold in the vibrant city just beyond its ancient boundaries. Chapter 6. Myrtles and Marble, National Garden. The entrance to the National Garden is like stepping through a portal from the sun-drenched, often noisy streets of Athens into a realm of cool shade and unexpected tranquility. The air immediately feels fresher here, carrying the scent of damp earth, lush foliage, and the subtle perfume of various blossoms. Sunlight filters down through a dense canopy of tall trees, palms, cypresses, eucalyptus, creating a dappled, ever-shifting pattern on the wide, sandy pathways. It's a welcome respite, an oasis in the heart of the bustling city. I walk with no particular destination in mind, allowing the winding paths to lead me deeper into the garden. The sounds of the city traffic, sirens recede, replaced by the rustling of leaves, the chirping of unseen birds, and the occasional quack of a duck from one of the several ponds scattered throughout the grounds. It's a place designed for leisurely strolls, for moments of quiet contemplation. I pass by Athenians enjoying this green haven, elderly couples walking hand in hand, parents watching their children chase pigeons, individuals sitting on benches lost in books or thought. The garden is a charmingly eclectic mix of formal and informal elements. There are neatly tended flower beds bursting with seasonal colors, but also wilder, more overgrown areas that feel almost like a natural forest. Statues of historical figures and mythological characters are dotted throughout, some prominently displayed, others half hidden by climbing ivy or framed by flowering shrubs. Ancient Roman mosaic fragments are embedded in some paths, and weathered marble columns, remnants of some forgotten structure, serve as picturesque garden ornaments. I find a particularly secluded bench beside a small pond where turtles sun themselves on rocks and goldfish glide through the murky water. A gnarled myrtle bush, its leaves dark green and fragrant, provides shade. It's here I choose to sit for a while, simply observing. The play of light on the water, the intricate patterns of bark on the surrounding trees, the slow, deliberate movements of a heron stalking prey at the pond's edge. It's these small, quiet dramas of nature that offer a sense of peace and connection. The National Garden isn't manicured to perfection. There's a certain romantic wildness to it, a sense of history and nature intertwined. It was once the royal garden, and it retains an air of slightly faded grandeur. I can imagine ladies in long dresses and gentlemen in top hats strolling these same paths in a bygone era. Now, it's a democratic space open to all, a vital green lung for the city. I appreciate its accessibility, its unpretentious charm. Taking out my notebook, I decide to focus on the textures around me. The rough bark of a plane tree, the smooth, cool surface of a marble bench, the feathery leaves of a fern. It's an exercise in slowing down, in truly seeing the details that often go unnoticed. The scent of pine needles is strong in one section, while another path is lined with fragrant rose bushes. Each turn reveals a slightly different sensory experience, a new combination of sights, sounds, and smells. There's a small, almost hidden cafe near the center of the garden where I stop for a simple Greek coffee. Sitting at an outdoor table under the shade of a large umbrella, I watch the gentle activity around me. The atmosphere is relaxed, unhurried. It's a place where time seems to slow down, where the pressures of the outside world feel distant. This ability to create pockets of serenity within a dense urban environment is one of Athens's many understated gifts. As I continue my walk, I stumble upon a small picturesque ruin, a few columns and arches overgrown with ivy, looking as if it had been there for centuries, quietly absorbed by the garden. It's these unexpected discoveries, these moments of quiet beauty, that make exploring the National Garden so rewarding. It's not about grand vistas or famous landmarks, but about the cumulative effect of many small, pleasing details. It appeals to the introspective traveler, the one who finds joy in the subtle and the serene. Leaving the garden later in the afternoon, stepping back out into the brighter light and more active pace of the city, I feel refreshed and a little more centered. The myrtles and marble of the National Garden have offered a necessary pause, a reminder of the importance of green spaces and quiet moments in our often hectic lives. It's a place I know I'll return to, a calm sanctuary whose gentle embrace offers a different but equally vital facet of Athens's timeless appeal. Chapter 7. The Daily Bread, Varvakios Agora, Outskirts. The Varvakios Agora, Athens' central market, is an intense, visceral experience at its core, but today I am drawn to its periphery, to the slightly quieter edges and the smaller neighborhood lakey markets that echo its spirit on a more human scale. I approach one such market on a sunny morning, the air already buzzing with a gentle energy. Here, the focus is less on the sheer volume and clamor of the main Varvakios and more on the direct, personal interactions between vendors and shoppers, a rhythm that feels more approachable for quiet observation. The stalls are laden with the vibrant bounty of the Greek land. Pyramids of glossy Kalamata olives gleam dark purple alongside barrels of green and blonde varieties, their surfaces glistening with oil. Mountains of citrus fruits, oranges, lemons, mandarins release their zesty fragrance into the air, their colors a joyful burst against the canvas awnings. Bunches of fresh herbs tied with string oregano, thyme, rosemary, dill perfume, the narrow aisles, their scents mingling and evoking the essence of Mediterranean cuisine. It's a feast for the senses before a single item is purchased. I walk slowly, taking it all in. The faces of the vendors are expressive, weathered by sun and work, often animated as they call out their wares or chat with regular customers. There's a theatricality to some of their calls, a musicality to their Greek that, even without understanding the words, conveys enthusiasm and pride in their produce. I observe the careful way shoppers select their vegetables, thumping a watermelon for ripeness, examining a head of lettuce with a discerning eye. These are rituals of daily life, performed with a practiced, almost unconscious grace. My focus is on the quieter details, the intricate patterns on the scales used to weigh produce, the handwritten signs advertising prices, the way a vendor meticulously arranges a display of ripe red tomatoes to catch the morning light. I notice the textures, the rough skin of a melon, the delicate velvety fuzz on a peach, the smooth, cool surface of an aubergine. These are the elements that often get overlooked in the rush, but they speak of the earth's generosity and the human effort involved in bringing these goods to market. I decide to buy a few things for a simple lunch back at my apartment. From a stall overflowing with local cheeses, I select a small block of feta, its salty aroma sharp and enticing, and a piece of Graviera, a hard, nutty cheese. The vendor, an elderly woman with a kind smile, wraps them carefully in paper. Further on, a baker with flour dusting his apron sells crusty, rustic bread still warm from the oven. The smell is irresistible. The simple act of purchasing these items, a brief exchange of smiles and efaristo, feels like a small connection to the daily pulse of the city. There's a beauty in this everyday commerce, in the provision of daily bread. It's a fundamental human activity, and here in Athens, it's performed with a certain unpretentious vibrancy. I see a vendor offering a child a sweet fig to taste, its dark skin splitting to reveal the rich red interior. A group of older men are gathered around a small table near a fish stall, sipping tiny cups of strong coffee, their conversation animated. These are snapshots of community woven into the fabric of the market. The light filters through the awnings in stripes, illuminating piles of gleaming red peppers, bunches of dark green spinach, and pale yellow heads of cauliflower. The colors are so intense, so alive, they almost seem to vibrate. I take a few discreet photographs, trying to capture the essence of this visual feast, the abundance and the human element. It's not about creating a perfect composition, but about preserving a feeling, a memory of this particular moment in this particular place. As I walk away from the market, my small bag holding my purchases, I feel a sense of quiet satisfaction. It wasn't an exploration of a grand historical site, but an immersion in the living, breathing present of Athens. The market is a place where the city's heart beats strong, where its people connect over the fundamental act of nourishment. The simple ingredients I carry will become a meal, a tangible taste of this land and its culture. The experience lingers the vivid colors, the rich smells, the sounds of commerce and conversation. It's a reminder that travel isn't just about seeing monuments. It's also about experiencing the everyday rhythms of a place, finding the beauty and significance in the seemingly mundane. The provision of daily bread in all its forms is a universal story, and here on the outskirts of Varvakios, it's told with a distinctly Athenian flavor. Chapter 8. Lycabettus' Evening Glow. In the late afternoon, as the sun begins its slow descent, I make my way towards Lycabettus Hill. I choose to walk the winding path upwards, rather than take the funicular, wanting to feel the gradual ascent, to earn the view. The air is still warm, but a gentle breeze stirs, carrying the scent of pine from the trees that cling to the hillside. With each turn, the city of Athens unfolds further below me, a sprawling panorama of white and ochre buildings stretching towards the distant, hazy line of the Saronic Gulf. The path is not overly crowded at this hour. Other walkers, mostly locals, share the journey, some striding purposefully for exercise, others, like me, ambling at a more contemplative pace. I pause frequently, ostensibly to catch my breath, but really to absorb the ever-expanding view. The Acropolis, from this higher vantage point, looks like a majestic ship sailing on a sea of urban sprawl, its honey-colored marble structures catching the mellowing sunlight. It's a powerful sight, even from afar, a constant reminder of the city's ancient heart. As I near the summit, the chapel of St. George comes into view, its whitewashed walls and blue dome a tiny perfect jewel against the vastness of the sky. I find a spot a little away from the main viewing platform on a rocky outcrop that offers an uninterrupted vista. Here, I can sit quietly away from the chatter and the clicking of cameras and simply wait for the day to end and the city lights to awaken. The sense of anticipation is gentle, a quiet excitement for the spectacle that nature and humanity will conspire to create. The transformation begins subtly. The brilliant, almost harsh light of midday softens, becoming richer, warmer. The white buildings of Athens take on hues of pale gold, then apricot, then a soft rose. Shadows lengthen dramatically, etching deep lines between the buildings, defining the contours of the surrounding hills. The sky itself becomes a canvas, streaks of pale pink and lavender appearing above the western horizon where the sun is now a glowing orange orb, slowly sinking toward the sea. It's a moment of profound stillness, even amidst the vastness. The sounds of the city below become a muted hum, a distant collective sigh. A few birds circle overhead, their calls echoing in the clear air. I take out my camera and capture a few images, trying to translate this incredible light, this expansive view, into a two-dimensional frame. But mostly, I just watch, imprinting the scene onto my memory. Some moments are too vast, too immersive for any lens but the human eye and heart. The term timeless light feels particularly apt here. As the sun dips below the horizon, the afterglow lingers, bathing the entire scene in an ethereal luminescence. The marble of the Parthenon, even from this distance, seems to radiate a soft internal light. The sky transitions through a spectrum of incredible colors, deep orange, fiery red, then shades of violet and indigo. It's a daily miracle, this Athenian sunset, yet it feels unique, special, each time it unfolds. Then, as if on cue, the city begins to sparkle. One by one, streetlights flicker on, then the lights within homes and buildings, until Athens becomes a glittering carpet spread out beneath the darkening sky. The Acropolis, now floodlit, stands out with majestic brilliance, a beacon of history in the modern night. The transformation is complete, from a city of sun-baked stone to a constellation of man-made stars. The air cools and a deeper quiet settles over the hill. I remain for a while longer, watching the night deepen, the first stars appearing in the velvet sky. The experience is both grand and intimate. Grand because of the sheer scale of the vista, the breathtaking beauty of the sunset and the illuminated city. Intimate because of the quiet contemplation it affords, the sense connection to something larger than oneself. It's a reminder of the beauty that exists in the world, a beauty that is both natural and human-made. The descent from Lycabettus in the deepening twilight is a slow, reflective journey. The lights of Athens twinkle invitingly below, and the path is now guided by the soft glow of lamps. I carry with me the memory of that extraordinary light, the peacefulness of the hilltop, and a renewed appreciation for this city of contrasts. A city that knows how to command awe, both in the bright light of day and under the soft glow of evening. Chapter 9. Packing the Athenian Hues. The last morning in my Koukaki apartment arrives with the same gentle insistence of the Athenian light I've grown accustomed to. It filters through the blue shutters, casting familiar patterns on the whitewashed walls. A silent greeting. There's a touch of melancholy in the air today, the subtle ache that often accompanies the end of a stay in a place that has begun to feel like a quiet friend. My satchel lies open on the bed, waiting to receive the few items that have been my companions here. Packing is a slow, deliberate process for me, a ritual that allows for reflection. As I fold my clothes, I mentally revisit the places I've been, the things I've seen. The brilliant white of Anafiotika, the sun-drenched marble of the Agora, the cool green shade of the National Garden, the vibrant colors of the market, the fiery glow of the sunset from Lycabettus. Each item I pack seems to carry a faint echo of these experiences, a subtle patina of Athenian dust, or the lingering scent of wild thyme. My notebook, filled with sketches and observations, is placed carefully inside. Flipping through its pages, I see the city unfold again in hurried lines and scribbled words. A detail of a column capital, the curve of an olive branch, a description of the light at a particular moment. These are my personal souvenirs, more precious than any trinket. My camera, holding its own digital memories, is stowed with care. These tools have helped me to see, to record, to process the unique character of this place. I take a final walk through the small apartment, a silent farewell to this temporary haven. The simple wooden desk where I wrote, the balcony where I sipped my morning tea and watched the street awaken, the window that frames so many different qualities of Athenian light. It has been a good space, uncluttered and peaceful, allowing me to feel a sense of belonging, however brief. The subtle scent of jasmine from the neighboring courtyard still hangs faintly in the air. Before leaving, I make one last circuit of the immediate neighborhood, the familiar corners, the orange trees lining the street, the small bakery where I bought fresh bread, the cafaneo where elderly men gather for their morning coffee and conversation. I exchange a calamera with the lady from the corner shop, a small, friendly nod of acknowledgement. These everyday encounters, these fleeting connections, are as much a part of the travel experience for me as visiting the grand monuments. They are the threads that weave the human fabric of a place. The light this morning seems particularly clear, as if the city is offering a final luminous display. It highlights the warm ochre of a nearby building, casts sharp shadows from the balcony railings, and makes the deep green of the orange tree leaves seem even more vibrant. I try to absorb these Athenian hues one last time to store them in my memory. The specific quality of this Mediterranean light, so clear, so strong, yet capable of such softness, is something I know I will carry with me. Back in the apartment, I take one last look around, ensuring nothing is left behind. The room looks bare now, stripped of my personal touches, ready for its next occupant. There's a sense of closure, but also a quiet gratitude for the time spent here, for the peace and inspiration it has offered. I shoulder my satchel, the weight familiar and comforting. It's time to move on, to continue the journey. Locking the door behind me feels like closing a chapter. The sounds of Koukaki, the distant chatter, the rumble of a scooter, the rustle of leaves follow me as I walk toward the main road to find a taxi. The city is awake, alive, continuing its timeless rhythm. My own small story within its vast narrative is drawing to a close, but the experiences, the images, the feelings will remain. The taxi ride to Larissa Station is a reverse of my arrival, yet seen through different eyes. I notice details I missed before, recognize landmarks, feel a sense of familiarity with the streets. The city no longer feels entirely new. A part of it has become known. As the wanderer awaits, I feel a mix of emotions, a fondness for Athens, a sense of completion, and the quiet anticipation of returning to the familiar embrace of the moving home. Chapter 10. The Wanderer's Aegean Memory. The platform at Larissa Station is a familiar scene of organized commotion, but today it feels different. I am leaving, not arriving. The wanderer waits patiently on the tracks, its deep forest green a comforting sight. Stepping aboard, I feel the immediate embrace of its familiar atmosphere, the scent of wood and leather, the quiet order of my carriage. It's like returning home, a home that moves with me, a constant, in a world of changing landscapes. As the train begins to pull away from the station, smoothly and almost silently, I watch Athens recede through the large window. The modern apartment blocks, the glimpses of neoclassical facades, the distant silhouette of Lycabettus hill they slip past, becoming smaller, more distant. There's no sadness, but rather a sense of gentle detachment, the feeling of a chapter completed, a story told. The city has shared some of its secrets, offered its unique light, and now it releases me back to my journey. I settle into my usual seat, my satchel stowed, my notebook open on the small table. The rhythm of the train, the clickety-clack of the wheels on the tracks, begins its soothing cadence, a sound that signals both departure and continuation. I look out at the urban sprawl gradually giving way to the Attic countryside. Olive groves reappear, The sun-baked hills roll by, familiar now from my journey inwards. Perhaps I catch a final fleeting glimpse of the Saronic Gulf, its waters shimmering under the midday sun. Flipping through the pages of my notebook, I revisit the sketches and notes from my time in Athens. The whitewashed curves of Anafiotika, the strong columns of the Temple of Hephaestus, the delicate petals of a flower in the National Garden, the vibrant colors of the market produce. Each image, each phrase evokes a specific memory, a feeling, a quality of light. The timeless light of Athens is no longer just a phrase. It's a collection of lived experiences, a spectrum of hues and intensities that I have witnessed and felt. The journey itself becomes a time for processing, for allowing the impressions of Athens to settle and find their place within me. The train moves through the Greek landscape, a silent, observant passage. The sun climbs higher in the sky, then begins its slow descent, the light outside shifting, changing, but the memory of that particular Athenian luminescence remains vivid. It's a light that seemed to illuminate not just the stones and streets, but also something deeper, a sense of history, resilience, and enduring beauty. I reflect on the quiet moments, sipping tea on my Koukaki balcony, watching the cats in Anafiotika, feeling the ancient stones of the Agora beneath my feet, observing the simple ritual of buying bread at the market. These are the experiences that, for me, define a place as much as its grand landmarks. They are the moments of connection, of quiet presence, that I seek in my travels. Athens offered these in abundance, hidden amongst its iconic sights and bustling streets. As the wanderer travels onwards towards an as yet undecided horizon, the essence of Athens remains. It's in the photographs stored on my camera, in the words and sketches in my notebook, but most importantly, it's woven into the fabric of my own memories, the warmth of the sun on ancient marble, the scent of wild thyme and jasmine, the musicality of the Greek language, the kindness of a stranger's smile. These are the intangible souvenirs, the ones that truly enrich the journey. The train carriage is a sanctuary, a space for this gentle reflection. The familiar comforts, the steady motion, create an environment conducive to contemplation. The Aegean memory of Athens, with its unique blend of ancient grandeur and vibrant contemporary life, will be a cherished part of my ongoing travels. It was a city that revealed itself slowly, rewarding patient observation with moments of quiet wonder. Night begins to fall outside my window. The Greek landscape dissolves into darkness, punctuated by the occasional distant light. Inside the wanderer, a soft lamp glows, illuminating my notebook. I write a few final thoughts, a concluding paragraph to this Athenian chapter. There's a sense of peace, of gratitude for the experiences had, and a quiet anticipation for what lies ahead. The journey continues, and the timeless light of Athens, now a luminous memory, travels with me.